Well, hey, everybody, Jim Hall, you ought to know. And here we are, we're in Hesperia, California. Desert Wholesale is where we are. In fact, if you think it's about entrepreneurship, yes, you're right. Take a look back here. A whole host of cars. In fact, right over here, we have one for $34.95. Another one right over here for $49.95. We've got them from, well, you call it $29.95 all the way up to $10,000. But today it's about entrepreneurship, what it takes to run a business, and what it takes to be in business and have a kind heart. We're going to meet somebody like that today on this particular show. Again, we're in Hesperia, California, right off of Hesperia Road. You'll be seeing the address, and you want to come visit this person simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us. Big show coming up. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. And I told you we are coming to you from Hesperia here in California. Of course, the high desert. And Becky, introduce yourself.
My name is Becky from Desert Wholesale.
Desert Wholesale. And this is, it says right there, quality pre-owned vehicles. So you're dealing in what type of vehicles?
Used vehicles.
And that's cars, trucks?
Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs.
Anybody bring you boats or jet skis or that sort of thing?
No, not really.
Yeah, you're a car person or a truck. Okay. Transportation for people is really what we're here about. Now, I got a call from somebody, and she is right off camera out here walking around, and that is who?
Rosemary.
Rosemary is a longtime friend, a customer?
She was a customer. Started out a customer. I sold her a vehicle, and so now she's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Now, a lot of that works out that way, and people will understand why when we tell the story. But this is something you've been dealing cars now for how long?
About 8 years.
8 years. In your own business?
Right.
And
Correct.
before that, what were you doing?
I was selling cars for somebody else.
Okay, so you've been around and you've done this, so you know the business end of this sort of thing, and times are tough. What, the last 3 years or so have been really rough.
Right. That's why the banks are not financing anymore if you have bad credit, so I started doing the in-house financing to help the people. They still need cars even though the banks won't cooperate.
And that's got to be tough. So how do you do that? You become the bank.
I'm the bank now, yeah. If they'll come in with half down, most of the cars half down will work, plus their tax and license, and then I finance the second half for them.
So I'll just do it real simple for anybody watching. If it's a $5,000 car, $49.95, they come in with $2,500 plus tax and license on that, and you'll carry the balance, and they can make the payments. And do you make those where it's affordable for them? How do you work it out?
I do. I try to make the payments under $200.
Under $200. So everybody can pretty well do that.
Exactly. So bad credit doesn't matter because I know everybody's got bad credit right now. So I'm not even gonna. That's not even an issue.
Well, the times when you were doing this 8 years ago, and everything was in the highs at that point, market was high for housing and so forth. What was the car business like then?
Well, we had a lot of bank financing then. So I sold more expensive cars. People would come in. I'd get them financed through the bank. The bank would pay me. But little by little, I've lost all my bank financing because the banks have closed, those little banks that I was using.
But it sounds like from talking with you that even from that period on, you're still moving cars here because you're working with people.
Right. I'm selling between 10 and 15 cars a month.
And that says a lot because I know some dealerships that move 8.
Right. So I'm doing very well. My customers now, the ones that trust me, are bringing me their friends, their relatives. So they're my best source.
Why would we trust you? Why would I trust you?
I'm the one that screams the loudest when I get cheated, and I do not like that feeling. So when I run into people at the grocery store or the bank or the post office here in town, I want them to be nice to me instead of angry with me.
Well, there's a little bit of a story, and I'm going to touch on part of that right now. So the story goes, you're here in Hesperia, and you're tucked in the corner right next door to where?
Casa Delicious.
And So lunch is always available.
Yes.
I'm sure you go other places,
Yes.
but one of my favorite things, the tamales and all that. But we can find you just adjacent between the bridge, the overpass, Main Street overpass, and Casa Delicias here.
Right.
And so your address, if people want to contact you here, is what?
9424 Hesperia Road.
And if people want to get you on the phone and say, Becky, I need help, can you help me with a car? What's that number?
Sure. 760-963-2328.
Okay, so there's a story here because you not only have this business, you have what other businesses?
I opened up a thrift store about 6 months ago on Main Street, and my son runs that. And then we opened up a little antique shabby chic shop on Main Street, and my daughter runs that.
That sounds like whole other shows that we may want to explore.
Very nice,
So
very nice.
because there's things on both of those realms as well. The antique store, talk about that one first. Although we're here talking about used cars today, talk about the antique store.
The antique store, my daughter Melissa runs that, and she does a lot of the white antique-y looking furniture, and she does very well. You walk in there and you think you're at a shop down the hill. It's
So she
beautiful.
goes out and picks up furniture, old used stuff, fixes it, or stuff that people discard, or whatever, and kind of gives it that shabby chic look then.
Right, right. She paints it and fixes it and stuff like that, and then resells it. And the women
Okay.
love her stuff. Yeah, she's
right.
got very nice stuff.
Now that shop can be found where?
On Main Street between 4th and 5th.
Okay. And now talk about the thrift store.
My son, who's a disabled vet, runs that one, and he's doing very well there. We try to help people too. A lot of people come in, they don't have much money. Deals, deals, deals. And our clothes are $1 every day.
$1 everyday clothes. And the thrift store is where?
It's on Main Street, right down the street from the antique store, between 4th and 5th.
So they're both between 4th and 5th there. So we have the thrift store, the antique store, and over here on Hesperia Road we have the car lot, Desert Wholesale. And we're going to talk about the true spirit of entrepreneurship when we come back. And we're going to talk about what it takes to have do you have a kind heart in this business?
Yes, I do.
Now that's got to be a rarity on
That's
its own.
rare. I have to overcome that when people come in. They automatically think that I'm going to cheat them. And you know what? I'm the furthest thing from that. If they talk to me a while and they realize I'm here to help them, everybody wins.
And everybody does win. I'm going to tell you why when we come back. Stay with us. We're here in Hesperia. Desert Wholesale is where we are. And why did we come out here? To meet Becky? To look at used cars? Because everybody needs help, everybody. And because you ought to know. Stay with us. There's more yet to come. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. And I told you we're here in Hesperia, California. We're at Desert Wholesale, and this is one of the unique things in this type of business. First off, Becky, you're a woman. You're in this business.
Yes, I am.
And you have the family we learned. You have a son and a daughter. We have the thrift shop and the antique store that's going. And I've got sense talking to people, you're more about helping people. And the car lot ties into that. Tell us what this is all about.
Well, people come in needing affordable vehicles. They got to get to work. Everyone else has turned them down in town. So I'm here. I'm one of their last resorts.
Yeah, but you take them home. You drive them to the bank. You give them a pair of shoes. You give people clothes. You feed people. What is going on?
I think all the bums in town on Main Street are dressed a little nicer now. I see them. I holler at them to come into the thrift store, get some shoes, get some clothes. Quite a few people needed school clothes for the children this year, so I was able to help out with that. So it's just makes your heart feel good.
Well, there's even a bigger story here, folks. There's one that a lot of you know this kind of story. And you say, yeah, that's Becky. She's just got a kind heart and she does this sort of thing. Becky, you donated body parts, right? Tell us that story.
About 2 years ago, my sister got very ill, and I stepped up to the plate and gave her one of my kidneys.
Not sold it, gave it.
To her. She owes me lunch.
She owes you lunch. See, everybody? Entrepreneurship, kindness, giving from the heart, somebody that cares about people. And in this economy, people are down, aren't they?
Right.
What kind of stories do you hear or what you see coming in?
Every day I hear people coming in losing their cars. Some people come in here crying. So if I'm able to tell them, don't worry, I can get you into a vehicle, the weight's been lifted off their shoulders when they leave.
The word out today, 1 in 7. This was on KFI out of Los Angeles. It was on CNN News. 1 in 7 in the country now is in the poverty level. 1 in 7.
Wow.
So when you talk about people or you see people come in, do people bring cars in asking you, are you interested in a car?
I buy cars, so people have vehicles that they want to sell. They just come on in. I'll purchase it from them right then. And if they need a ride home, I'll help them, to get home. But I have a lot of people that come in, drive in, and I hand them a check, and they just walk out. They're just that desperate.
Well, and when you talk about people being desperate, it seems like you would be right on the other side of the coin for somebody to come in and take advantage of. But it's not happening that way.
It's not. People, you find there's still good people out there. It's not all gloom and doom. I've met a lot of people. Even after they pay off their cars, they still pop in to visit me. I've made a lot of friends. I see them around town. It's just, I tell them when they drive by, they have to honk. Some days, I hear cars honking a lot out front as they're driving by.
Well, and you're not the type that straps on the gun on day 31 and goes to the house and puts the wheel locks on and tow truck. Is there a tow truck in the back of the building? No, there's not, is there?
I tell them, say their vehicle breaks down 6 months into their payment, fix your vehicle that month and we'll skip that payment. Because then they're not strapped for both.
So we're not wanting people to, we're not advocating you come in and take advantage of this lady either. What we are saying is you're willing to work with people.
I'm willing to work with people.
Why?
Why? It feels good. I like it. I'm just a helper. I really like it.
Well, it has to be on the other end of that. You've got to be doing something right, and you got to be doing good business by doing it this way for the people.
Right. It's a nice living, I don't have to lie and cheat to make people come in here. And people are bringing me customers, so they trust me, and that's a good feeling. When they come in, they find it hard to believe that there's a woman as the owner. That's the first hurdle to get over. Once they understand that I do know what I'm doing, it's not a problem.
Well, I always talk when I go out to businesses or restaurants. We do a lot of restaurants. We do a lot of fun things. And this is a fun thing because I like seeing this happen when you talk about people. And people are down right now. There's no reason to beat them down. Right. Let's help each other get back up. So that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I helped a little old lady. She was walking, and I got her into a car. She had a few $100s. I had a little cheapy car. And, she went and told probably 20 or 30 of her friends. So that's the best advertising you can do.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth.
Yes.
It's kind of that old, I got married last weekend. We had a great photographer. Here's his name, and you use him, and that passes on.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Well, when you have people... First off, your price range in your vehicles you get here, people are looking for a car. Tell me what your bottom line price is on the lot today even.
Starting at $29.95, and we go up to about $10,000.
So you very affordable cars in there then.
Exactly. And we try to do the financing for 12 months.
Okay.
So that way within 1 year their car's paid off.
They're done.
Yeah, I get paid, their car's paid off, and they hand me their last payment, I hand them their title, and everybody's happy.
Okay. So that's one thing you do. Tell me something else that you do for them. I know there's something else in there.
As far as them paying for the cars?
Yeah.
So if they're a little bit late, all they have to do is call me, just say I'm going to be a couple
You mean communicate? That's it? It's that easy?
Just call me. That's all you got to do.
All right.
The banks won't even do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they find it very easy. I'm very easy to get along with.
Day 31, I don't even answer the phone. People start calling me. You don't do that.
I'll put my card on your door and say, "Hey, call me. Tell me what your problem is. Let's see if we can, come in, make half a payment if you have to. Just come in. Don't avoid the calls."
All right. Again, Becky, tell us where we are in Hesperia.
We are at 9424 Hesperia Road, underneath the Main Street overpass.
Okay, and the phone number?
760-963-2328.
All right, stay with us, everybody. We're going to show you. Hey, remember Cal Worthington standing on his head? We're going to see. Can you do it?
Do I have to stand on my head?
No, but we are going to show some of the vehicles. We're going to talk about how easy it is to get in a vehicle right here at Desert Wholesale. Simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us. More yet to come. Maybe a deal for you. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall. You ought to know. In Hesperia on Main Street. No, we're not. We're right by the overpass. We're on Hesperia Road where the overpass comes, and you can't get any closer to the overpass, can you, Becky?
Right. We're right next door.
All right. Take a look at this. $34.95. This is an automatic, low mileage right on this one. A little Chevrolet, a little coupe. I mean, how can people beat that kind of price?
How can they beat that price? So that price right there, they would have to come in with around, say $1,600 down, plus their tax and license.
What does tax and license run on something like that?
Probably about $300.
Okay. Yeah. So they can get in a car for $1,900, make the payments. A year later, they own the car.
Correct.
All right. Little truck right back here, a Chevy pickup. It's got a work. It's got the box in the back, little work box back there, $44.95, an automatic.
Right. And then what I do is I run a Carfax on all my vehicles. so that we are all on the same page. We all know the history of the vehicle.
Okay.
So no
there's
surprises.
No hidden things here, and nobody's taking advantage of anybody. And it's all about the help again.
Right. I want to make.
I've got another one over here. A little Ford. This is a what sedan is that?
That's a little Ford Tempo.
Okay.
And it has 78,000 miles on it, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So it's probably driven by a little old lady, if I had to guess.
$34.95. Can I come in and dicker price with you?
Sure.
I can.
And if you pay cash, I'll definitely make you a great deal.
All right. So we can do that. A little Saturn over there, a little gold Saturn. $39.95. You said extra clean right there. Tell me about that one.
That's a little two-door, and with something like that, $2,000 plus your tax and license, and that's a 99.
Okay. So you're making it easy for people to come in and pick some cars. You have some selection out here. Let's take a little walk. We're going to take a look at some of these. And camera, we're going to have you pick up some of these shots for us. I want to get out here and look at some of these cars. This is an '03 Dodge. What model?
This is a Durango. Has a third row seat.
Okay. The Durango, real popular with a lot of my friends. In fact, my girlfriend has a '03. Actually, my wife's girlfriend has an '03 down in Anaheim Hills. Won't get rid of it. Loves it. And you've got it $89.95, and that's a deal because I've seen them up at $12, $13, $14 for the '03s.
I try to be just a little bit under Kelley Blue Book.
Okay.
So
you do base on Kelley Blue Book. You look at your cars. You look at what you're getting. And where do you get your vehicles?
I get them from the auctions. I get them from other dealerships. Let me buy their trade-ins. People come in and trade them in. I buy them anywhere I can find a cheap car. I'll buy them off the street.
Okay.
So.
But you want cars that are going to hold up. I mean, you talked about.
If I don't like how it looks and feels and drives, it doesn't come here.
Yeah, it's not on your lot. You're not selling it to somebody else for problems.
Exactly. I don't want any problems.
All right. Behind us, $34.95 right here, little Buick.
And this one is a four-door. And like I said, this one here, probably for $16 plus tax and license, about $1,900 will get you in that one.
$1,900 on that one. Right across the lot, we have another one here for $29.95. Bonneville.
Four-door. That one too. $1,500 plus your tax and license will get you in that one.
Okay. And what else do you have on the lot? Tell me about the pickup truck over here, because I've got my eye on this one.
Yeah, that's a Ford Ranger. It's got the extra cab with the little door, and then the back of it also opens up.
Okay.
So that one.
Now that one is perfect, like for our crew, to get our camera gear in and all that sort of thing, or somebody maybe that has a construction job, or they're working, or a family where you can put the young ones in, right?
Or a fisherman. There's fishing poles back there. Right. That's what the guys tell me. They want the pickup trucks with fishermen.
Now, tell me about the inventory. What is it like in here now? You have how many cars on your lot?
Oh, probably 15 to 20 usually.
Yeah.
I sell about 3 or 4 a week, so at least 3 or 4 change every week.
Yeah, so your turnover is pretty good.
I always have cars in the $29.95 range, always, because I know that's what most people need.
So that's what you watch for, so you make sure you have some availability.
Right, correct. Because I know
the cheaper car, the $29.95, the $39.95, are those tough for you to find?
they're very hard to find right now. That's what every dealer in town is looking for. So I'm out there searching 3 or 4 days a week looking for the cars to make sure that I have them here.
And how do you find most of them? Do you do it on the internet? Do you do it here in your office, or do you have to go somewhere?
I go in person. I go to the auction. We're there all day, running around looking at thousands of cars. So picking out a few.
I've got a couple others up there. You got the little red coupe. Tell me about that one. Right up at the fence. Everybody can see that one when they pull up to the lot.
That's a little four-door, and I think that's a little Chevy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And low mileage on that one.
Okay.
I try to find them low mileage because, the newer cars, that's what the people want. But sometimes the cheaper cars have a little higher miles. But these cars, it's amazing how long cars are going now.
Well, and I would think that with the economy being what it is, you want the inexpensive cars to resell. And a lot of people the last couple of years haven't been able to do those extra trips that they would normally do. So maybe the mileage is coming down a little bit.
I think so. Yeah, and a lot of people are working closer to home now, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they're working.
Yeah,
that's the key,
That's the key.
Well, again, they can come in and buy a car from you if they have a job. Just show that you have a job, right?
Right. A job, half down plus your tax and license, and I'll go to work for you.
All right. Once again, give us a phone number.
760-963-2328.
And I got to ask the question, everybody's out there in the world today, are you doing internet?
No, I'm not.
No website. So it's better to come see you here anyway.
Yeah, come to me in person. I need to talk to you, see you. Let's make a little friendship before we do business.
Well, and I would imagine about everybody you deal with, it turns into that kind of a relationship, doesn't it?
I've made a ton of friends. Everywhere I go around town, I see everybody I know. It's just it's a very nice feeling.
All right. The antique store, the thrift store between 4th and 5th on Main Street, not very far from where we're at, and Desert Wholesale right here, Hesperia Road, right at the overpass.
Right. I tell my kids, watch what Mom does and and do what I do, you'll make some money.
All right. There it is, everybody. We've been privileged to come out and really get the entrepreneurial spirit to find out a little bit about what it takes. And Becky, you've got what it takes out here.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you. And I know people are going to come see you. And why are they seeing us? Right here on Odyssey Television. Go to our website. You can watch all the shows at yououghtaknowtv.com. Yououghtaknowtv.com. And we'll be back to wrap up this one from Hesperia, simply because you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, that's going to put the wraps on another show, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know from Hesperia. And you see Desert Wholesale, the phone number there. Becky, real quick again, the number is?
760-963-2328.
A kind heart, a good deal, and people can make payments right here with you. No banks involved.
Correct.
All right. Well, how much easier than that does it get, everybody? We're here in Hesperia. We came out to find out about entrepreneurship, and she certainly does have it. You want to check out the antique store and the thrift store, you can do that too on Main Street between 4th and 5th. But come see them here at Desert Wholesale. You looking for a car? Now is the time, and you can actually get behind the wheel, right?
Yes.
All right. That's what it's all about.
Come and see me.
Come and see her. It's Becky right here at Desert Wholesale, simply because we're out here because you ought to know. See you next time, everybody.